Hello and welcome to another episode of Spirit Seeking with Pratik on Sound Health Solution. We spent a lot of time talking about mudras and we spent a lot of time talking about mental health and physical health. So in the recent videos, we thought that we should move on for a while to pure spirit, right? When I say pure spirit, I mean pure self. You are the spirit. In today's episode, I guess this episode will be very useful for younger ones because I am going to speak about how to identify if you are being fake or real. Yes, this sounds like an interesting topic, right? Especially in our years of formation, in our teenage years, we have a tendency to give in to peer pressure and do things that we might not like, which eventually becomes our habits. All of these usually happen in our years of formation, which I call the years of formation, which are our teenage years or late teens. But once we pass that stage, how do we know if we are being true to oneself? Here are some of the activities, some of the tips and tricks we can use in order to find if we are actually being true to ourselves or not. Let's get started right away. So, I don't know, if you're a 90s kids, you might have a tendency of pretending that you're happy. Especially in the Oriental part of the world, where we had an obligation of pleasing our elders, working according to their needs, being the best of ourselves in their eyes. We pretend to do things which we don't really like. For example, when I was asked to study for exams, I remember reading comic books, and as soon as my father entered the door, I would throw the comic book away and have a course book in my hand. I would play games on paper when he was not around, but would pretend that I'm studying. That was in the past. But do we also have a tendency of doing things like that even now? Do you pretend that you're happy? Do you become happy for the sake of others instead of feeling how you actually feel? That's one of the ways to identify whether you are being true to yourself or not. Similarly, another idea to find out if you are in less contact with your true self, if you have been deviated with your true self, is, do you recommend books to other people that you have not read yourself? Or do you refer songs or movies to other people that you have not watched or heard yourself? We hear from somewhere that this book is good and it's in our mind. We want to study, we want to read it, but we don't. But when we talk about books next, we take that information and throw it out to others. If that's what we do, we need to understand that we're only working on our mental level and our roots are not bound to the ground. We might have a lack of the earth element, right? So identify that. Do you suggest things to other people which you have not experienced yourself? Another thing to identify whether you're true to yourself or not is this happens a lot to a lot of people these days when we say the words sorry or thank you, right? We were taught that these are golden words. These were magic words when we were kids, that we should use them as often as possible, appropriately. Of course, you can't go around saying sorry to someone who has helped you, and you cannot say thank you to someone you've hurt appropriately. But it's become a habit for us. and we just tend to blurt out these words, thank you or sorry. Do we really mean them? These golden words, do we really feel them while we are uttering these words in a social setting or in a personal setting? That could be another checkpoint to see if you're being true to yourself. Another thing to note is, in a conversation, whenever you have a interpersonal conversation or a conversation in a group or you are addressing the mass, do you talk about what you are doing, what matters to you, or do you constantly talk about what other people are doing and how it matters them, how it affects them, and what effect it has on other people, tertiary people? What do you do? Do you speak about the things that come from your heart that matter to you, or do you speak about things? Do you criticize other people? Are you spending a lot of time talking about others or yourself? That's the base point, right? If you're speaking about others a lot, understand that you might have a communication gap with yourself, because somebody who is doing their dharma, doing what they have to do, completely and with full awareness and with full love and with full passion, they do not have time and the interest to peek into other people's lives. Another check mark to be put against is whether you are comfortable in saying, I don't know, for especially men. Right? We have again been brought up in such schooling where it's expected of us to have an answer to everything. We hesitate if we have to answer to our children to the questions we do not know answers of. We are unable to say, I do not know. We might feed them bullcrap, but we'll never say, I do not know. Is this a problem with you? Do you have the ability to say, I do not know? Because when you say, I do not know, only then you are being true to yourself, that you are open to finding out answers to things you do not know. If you build something in your head and deem it right and throw it out as the correct, the most appropriate answer, you'll always be a Mr. Know-all. And your facts and figures and your talks might not be accurate. And in the course of time, you lose credibility. But if you are able to say, I do not know, you are open to learning. Maybe last but not the least, how often do you judge people? Now, as human beings, all of us judge others all the time. If you are able to keep judgment out of your perspective, out of your life completely, you experience utter bliss. But it's human tendency, it's human nature to analyze things, environment, and people and judge them and put them in a category. Now, when it comes to judging too, there's healthy judging and there's unhealthy judging. We have judges in courts. We have judges in reality TV shows. We need judges in our life. But do we as individuals judge other people for the wrongs that they do, which we have also done in the past, or we also regularly do? For example, do you judge and look down upon someone who litters in the street, but the next day you go on a walk, you litter on the streets yourself? That is a toxic trait which shows that you're being fake, and being fake doesn't really affect anybody else, it affects yourself. So if you want to judge anybody, first start with yourself. It gets easier. First, do all the wrongs in yourself right, and then move out to the society or the world. If you like this video, do not forget to press the like button, and if you like whatever is happening in Sound Health Solution, do not forget to subscribe to us, share this video with your friends, leave us comments down below, tell us what you think about this video, and stay tuned, subscribe to us. We'll make sure that we come up with more videos like this for you in the future. Let's create a community of happy, wiser, more critically thinking, accepting human beings. Until next time.